Guys, welcome back to Under the Radar Books. I'm Brittany, and today I have a check this out video with all the things that I have checked out from the library. I actually think I'm going to be doing this in two parts because I don't know what's come over me this month, but I have gone crazy at the library and I have so many things checked out. So I'll do part one today and then hopefully upload part two very shortly. So let's go ahead and jump in. The first book that I have is called The Glacier, and this is by Jeff Wood, and this is published by $2 Radio, which is probably my absolute favorite publishing company in the universe. I love everything they put out. It's so unique. Such small authors nobody's heard about. They usually do lots of really dark fiction, which I really enjoy. I don't even know what this is about, but I was really intrigued that it said a cinematic novel, which I'm not even sure what to make of that, but it almost looks like it is like a play. Like it has, you know, like the person talking and then what they're saying. It just seems really interesting. There's also illustrations inside. So yeah, I'm really intrigued by this. I had to check it out. Beautiful cover. I had to see what it was all about. Next up is Every House is Haunted by Ian Rogers. This is a short story collection about haunted house stories, which is just right up my street. I've heard that it's very creepy. It has great reviews, so I needed to check it out as well. Next up, this is one that I have been wanting to read for ages, and I just stumbled across it in my library, and I knew that I had to check it out. It's like it found me, and that is So Many Books, So Little Time, A Year of Passionate Reading by Sarah Nelson. And this is like a memoir about a young woman who calls herself a readaholic and her year of reading, what she read, why she liked it, why she didn't like it, and I love reading books about books, so I think this just sounds really, really enjoyable. Next up is a graphic novel called Low. This is volume 1, The Delirium of Hope. This is by Rick Remender and illustrated by Greg Tocchini. And this is about a dystopian world where everybody lives underwater. The planet is overheated, and so the only way we can survive is basically in the ocean where it's a lot cooler. And I believe bad things start to happen and we're losing places to live, and we have to basically go try to find a different place to inhabit. And the main character is a female, I believe, so I'm really interested to see how this plays out. The artwork is really cool. So yeah, I will let you guys know how that goes. I got another graphic novel, which is The Fade Out by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. And this says Hollywood 1948, a noir film stuck in an endless reshoots. A writer plagued by nightmares from the war and an up-and-coming starlet's suspicious death, and a mogul and a security chief who do anything to keep the cameras rolling before the studio system comes crashing down. So it sounds really interesting. The artwork is all right, not my usual favorite thing, but I'm interested, and I really, really love the cover, so excited to try this one out. Next up is a book that I heard Liberty Hardy talking about, and this is a author that has written a couple other YA books, I believe, and all of them sound really interesting, but this one really, really piqued my interest, so I went ahead and put it on hold. This is Where the World Ends by Amy Zhang. It says, once upon a time, there was a girl named Janie Vivian, and a boy named Micah Carter, and a boy named Dewey, and a boy named Ander, and a girl named Piper. And once upon a time, Janie Vivian declared an apocalypse, and they all fell down. They all fell down. Micah can't remember when or how or why, but he knows one thing for certain. This is where the world ends. So, really, really interesting. Another lovely cover, and I haven't read all the YA recently, so I think this will be a good thing to break up some of my more heavy books. Next up is another YA that I've heard really, really good things about. I know that Faber has published it in the UK. My friend Taylor from Let's Get Lost in Words has read it and really, really loved it. And that is The Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. And this follows a young girl who is coming of age in Alaska. And I love stories set in very, very cold climates for some reason, like Antarctica and, you know, Iceland, things like that. I've always been really intrigued. So this sounds really, really interesting, and it's nice and short, so I think I will just blaze right through it. Next up, I had to grab Nimona by Noelle Stevenson, which just has been flying around BookTube. People really, really enjoy it. It's a YA graphic novel, I believe, and I love her artwork. And I believe it follows this kind of hodgepodge group of superheroes, I want to say, so I definitely think that I will be getting to this one very soon. Next up is one that has been on my TBR for ages, and I just thought it was about time that I picked it up, and that is Therese Raquin by Emile Zola and translated by Adam Thorpe. This is a gothic novel about a young woman who gets married and then falls in love with someone else, and her lover basically plan to kill her husband so that they can be together and be happy. It sounds really dark and creepy. This cover is absolutely stunning, and these end papers are amazing. So I am super, super excited to pick this one up, and I hope that I really enjoy it. Next up is another YA book. It is The Dead House by Don Kurtagich. And all this says on the back is, I am real, I exist, they won't kill me, send me away. So, and then it's crossed out. So this looks really creepy. I think I saw this on like creepiest YA books of all time or something, so you know I'm in for that. Next up is a ghost story anthology called Dark Company, and it's edited by Lincoln Child. And the reason why I got this out is because there's a short story in here called The Great God Pan, which I will be buddy reading in May with a couple of booktubers. Elizabeth from Books and Pieces is, I believe, the host of it, and I think it's gonna be really fun. So I just grabbed this whole anthology to read because I love ghost stories, and there's lots of famous ghost stories in here that I'm really excited to get to. There's Fall of the House of Usher, Green Tea, The Jolly Corner, Monkey's Paw, Great God Pan, The Willows, Beckoning Fair One, The Voice in the Night, and The Shadow of Our Time. So lots of horror masters of our time, and I'm really excited to check it out. It has a very cool cover. Next up is something that I have never talked about on my channel before, but I'm super, super fascinated with, and that is urban exploration. This is where people go to abandoned places and buildings and things like that, and they sneak in and photograph them, which I always find things like that very haunting and interesting. And so this is a nonfiction book, a photography book on urban exploration. It is called Night Vision, The Art of Urban Exploration, and it's photography by Troy Pava. So he does really interesting things with light, and it's definitely going to be a quick read. There's not a lot of words, just kind of about the location that he's at, and yeah, it looks really cool, really haunting, and I'm excited to pick it up. Next up is one that Liberty also has talked about, and it's been on my radar for a really long time, and it was just sitting on my library shelf, so I grabbed it. That is Black Chalk by Christopher J. Yates. It says 1 game, 6 students, 5 survivors. So I'm already in on that. I know that it has been compared to The Secret History, which I absolutely adored, so I am really excited to get to it. So, and the last book of part 1 of my library book haul is The Silence by Sarah Rain, and this is a horror writer that I've been wanting to check out for a long time. This is about a mother and daughter who move into an old house that turns out to be haunted. It starts out very slow, like they hear piano music and footsteps and things like that, and then I think that it gets a lot more menacing as time goes on, so it sounds really interesting. I love me a horror book. It looks like it's going to be a breeze to get through, so I'll keep you guys posted. So that is part 1 of my library haul. I hope you guys found some new things maybe you haven't heard of before, some things you can add to your TBR. Let me know if you guys have read any of these or if you want to be picking them up soon. And if you have anything else checked out from the library, let me know. I would love to hear about it. And I will see you guys in part 2. Until next time, happy reading!